Much better from Oxford United tonight. Most things in the game were much better than what we saw on Saturday. But still, in terms of scoring goals and creating chances, we look very toothless. Hello everybody and welcome back to OUFC Fan View. It is time for another review of another Oxford United game. For the first time in 23 years, it is the Thames Valley Derby. Oxford were away at Reading. If you're going to use cliches, then you can rip the form book up and throw it out the window because it is a derby game. From an Oxford United point of view, that might not be a bad thing. Not in the best of form. A poor performance away at Peterborough last time out. You can see my review of that in the top corner. And there's Buckingham still searching for his first goal as Oxford United manager and, of course, his first win. Was he going to get both tonight in the derby? Well, we got one of them. We got the first goal, but unfortunately Oxford couldn't hold on to the win, and he's still searching for that first victory as the U's manager because it finished Reading 1. Oxford United won. So better from Oxford United, but still not the victory that we are looking for. But Reading played their part in this one as well. And I would say that overall they probably did deserve a draw in this game. Certainly based on the chances that they missed in the first half. Oxford with the lion's share of things in the second half without really carving out too many crystal clear chances. But we will get into all of it. I'll go over the team news, I will give my match review, and I'll give my final thoughts at the end. I'll put timestamps down below, so if you please feel free to jump to any part of the video that you like. But if you do that, then please hit the like button because that helps me out a lot. And if you do like the content, consider subscribing. So let's start the team news then. Let's start by looking at Oxford United, and Oxford made two changes from the side that lost badly at Peterborough at the weekend. Josh McEachran comes into midfield and Josh Murphy starts wide on the left hand side. Ruben Rodriguez not in the squad tonight with a slight injury. We don't know quite how bad that is. If anyone does, please put it in the comments. So Ciaron Brown pushed up into the number 10 role. It meant Billy Bowden also dropped out of the side as well. Look, personally at the start of the game I would have quite liked Bowden to have played up top instead of Harris. But I'm okay with that starting lineup, and it's certainly good to see Murphy rewarded for the fine form he's had coming off the bench of late. Ruben Sellers, Thames Valley Royals. Sorry, I couldn't help but get that dig in there. No, the Royals started the night second bottom, and it's been another year of turmoil for them and their fans. Off the field problems, fan protests, and a 4-point deduction means it's been a very miserable time for Reading so far. And I really do feel sorry for the Reading fans. I know this is a derby game, so there's rivalry between the two clubs, but I mean, as I always say, fans have to put up with so much crap from dodgy ownership, and Reading fans, I do really feel for you. But and again, we'll jump in ahead, but from what I saw today, certainly good enough to stay up in this league. But despite being second bottom, Reading's form has actually picked up in all competitions over the last 10 games. They did have a big 5-1 victory at home over Carlisle recently too. But the most recent home game was at the weekend, and that was a 3-1 defeat to Barnsley, and Sellers made 3 changes from that side. The highly rated Real Madrid radar, Caelan Vickers, starts up front or just behind Sam Smith up top, and Holmes and Dorset came in at the back. Sam Smith up top for Reading. He has caused us nightmares in the past. It wasn't a very good loan spell he had with us a long time ago, and you can tell he still resents Oxford United and seems to play really well against us as well. And Femi Aziz is another threat on that right hand side. Let's move on to the game then. KG opening to this one, as you might expect. Both sides kind of half going for the press, half going for like trying to push the opponent back, but also wary of not wanting to concede an early goal. A couple of dangerous crosses from either side, nearly came to chances. First foot was for Reading, and it was Aziz with a cross that just was put over Smith's head, and then literally a minute later Oxford got Mills into a good position. He produced a wicked ball just out of the reach of Harris. Again, you don't know this, but you can't help but think it. If he was if he was a firing and informed Mark Harris, would he have got on the end of it? But it just goes past him. And the game sort of fell into a format that I thought it would. Oxford enjoying more of the ball, but not really doing too much with it. Reading trying to hit Oxford much quicker with when they do have the ball, get the ball forward nice and quickly, and actually did look more dangerous than Oxford in the first half. But the first chance came for Reading, and it was by a mistake by Finn Stevens. He sold Elliot Moore short with a back pass, and Sam Smith got there ahead of Moore, and it meant he could run into the penalty area. But he was wide on the left-hand side, and rather than shooting, he opted to roll the ball back to 3 on-rushing Reading players. But luckily for Oxford, Jordan Thornley comes across with a brilliant block to block Harvey Nibbs from having a shot on goal. Just before the half-hour mark, and again it's Reading looking the more threatening side. When they do get the ball forward, they're trying to get the ball up to Smith. They're trying to play long raking balls out wide to the wingers as well. And when they can get that, the players push on forward and they try and play good football in high up areas. But this one came from across from the right from Aziz. Oxford get the first ball away, but the Reed can't quite clear it fully. About 12-13 yards out, Wing is able to get onto the ball, hits a vicious volley, but it's Jordan Thornley again getting in the way of it, blocking it with his face. Don't know how much he knew about it, but he got in the way of it and it deflected over a corner. That looked like it was going in. Slowly, Oxford did start to get a little bit better, but again, it didn't look that threatening. But on 39 minutes, boom, that first goal in the Des Buckingham era in the league came, and it was a very typical Oxford United goal. Possession was kept really well through a couple of phases of attacks. Mark Harris did brilliantly in the build-up, held the ball up well, got the ball out to Mills. Wonderful ball in from Stan Mills, and Ciaron Brown is in the penalty area, leapt like a salmon, guided it past Button into the back of the net. Brown was still up there from a previous attack as well, and he buried it beautifully. So we're in the lead for the first time in the league under Buckingham. Can we build on it? Can we settle? Will we calm down? Well, the answer is no. 3 minutes later, Reading back in it at 1-1. Reading have tried this a few times in the first half, trying to play a long ball in behind. Smith leads the line really well, plays on that last defender really well, and this time they got it right. Hint of offside about it, maybe it was, but it wasn't given. Ball through from the halfway line, drifts over Elliot Moore. Maybe Finn Stevens could have done a little bit better at tucking in behind, but Sam Smith's in behind, one touch, he's in on Beadle, slots it past Beadle, celebrates in front of the Oxford fans, tennis balls thrown on the pitch. It was all happening in a mad little 5-minute spell there, but we were back to 1-1 in this game. Such a letdown after the joy of going 1-0 up. But it'll be Reading who'll be scratching their heads as to how they didn't go in leading at half-time. Femi Aziz missed an absolute sitter on about 44 minutes. A nice little break from Reading. Ball across the box. Aziz is there. He's only about 6 yards out. I'm not sure if he's even on the slide. I think he's met it on the full, but he's just put the ball wide of the post. A real sitter and a real let-off for United. Josh McEachran gave away a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area on Reading's left. Oxford's right, just virtually the last kick of the first half. And again, Wing put in a wicked ball. It was a relatively comfortable save for Beadle, one you would expect him to make, and he pushed it away. Oxford just about scrambled through the half-time at 1-1. Frantic end to the first half, and yeah, as you say, form book out the window, and if you looked at the league table, you'd think, oh, Oxford should win this game, but Reading more than matched Oxford in that first half. Oxford had played okay, and themselves did mix their attacks up. There were times where Oxford looked to try and hit long raking balls out to early to Mills in particular, but also out to Murphy as well, and Murphy did have a couple of good runs in the first half, but there were times where Oxford did control the ball in midfield quite well. But again, it's just coming back to, are we looking that threatening when we get into the final third? And when we get into the penalty area, you have to say, no, we are not. We didn't really force Button into a save at all, other than him picking the ball out of the back of the net. And Reading, when they got the ball, they just knock it around much faster, trying to be more direct, trying to get at Oxford much quicker than we get at them. And the likes of Aziz, Vickers, Nibbs out wide were causing Oxford problems. And of course, Smith up front was a handful. But Oxford were the better side in the second half of this game. Des Buckingham loves a half-time sub. I think he's made one in every game so far, and that continues with Jordan Thornley making way for Joe Bennett. And I actually thought Joe Bennett had a really good second half in this one. And yeah, Oxford did start the second half much better. They were more on the front foot. They seemed to be snapping into tackles, winning a lot more second balls into midfield and putting Reading under a lot more pressure. But as I said, we just could not get many shots on goal, and we just couldn't get many bodies into the box. 3 little chances for Oxford in the space of like 90 seconds or so, 50 minutes. Josh McEachran plays a lovely ball in behind for Harris. He was trying to do what Sam Smith did, but he just couldn't get onto the ball. Got a little touch on it, but Button was able to come out and gather. Then Brannigan drove to the edge of the box, won a free kick. That free kick got deflected. It was a dangerous area, but that free kick got deflected over. And then from that corner, Elliot Moore put a free header wide. She's starting to think the chances might be coming for Oxford United, but it did calm down a little bit after that. Wasn't like sustained pressure from the U's all the way through. I have to say I don't think set pieces were very good for Oxford United. Reading have not been good at defending set pieces. We really didn't put them under enough pressure from set pieces today. More changes came for Oxford United. Harris came off, which I'm really surprised about. When we just ended the game without even a striker on the pitch, just baffles me a little bit. Goodrum came on for Mills. Bowden came on for Harris. Whenever Oxford got Murphy into the game, he looked dangerous right the way through this 90 minutes. Good to see him last in the 90. He drove down the right-hand side, or Oxford United's left-hand side, sorry, Reading's right, got into the area, but he just lacked that conviction to either have a shot or have a cross. I'm not sure whether he was waiting for a Reading player to dangle a leg so he could go down, and the chance was snuffed away. Hardly a shot on goal in the second half in terms of keepers making a save. Oxford had one all night, which is really sad statistic. But there were a couple from Reading as we moved into the final 10 minutes. Femi Aziz with a little grass cutter of a shot, which was easy for Beadle. And Charlie Savage, who came on as a sub with a better effort, but further out, caught it well, but again, straight at James Beadle. Into the final throw-ins of the game, and Oxford had a couple of chances. Some beautiful balls, but again, played out to that left-hand side. Firstly, a beautiful ball ping to Murphy, who was one-on-one with a fullback, just glided past him, cut inside, edge of the box, and he's whistled it just wide of the post. That was the moment you felt we were going to get that grandstand finish for Josh Murphy, but it just went wide. And virtually the final attack of the game. This time it was a long ball over the top, and it was Bennett this time making great ground to get on the end of it. He was wide on the left-hand side. Good cut back to Bowden. Bowden with a shot on goal. Difficult chance, and it was deflected just wide. Are we going to get anything from the corner? No, we didn't. Oxford on the attack at the end of the game as the referee blew for the full-time whistle. Probably on the whole, you would have to say that probably was a fair result. Reading had good chances in the first half. Oxford largely dominated the second without creating too much. We're not in a great form at the moment, are we? This one doesn't feel like a great result. That brings me to my final thoughts, and let's start with Reading. And very interested to know if there's any Reading fans watching this, what you thought of the game, and what you think of how it's going to go this season. Obviously, there's a lot of crap off the field stuff with your owners and your board and stuff like that, and I hope it gets resolved for you guys, because it's an absolute nightmare for you. But I thought you played pretty well today. I thought you looked pretty dangerous going forward. There's certainly goals in this side with the likes of Sam Smith, and you've certainly got a lot of potential, certainly with a young side as well. But I like that style of just trying to get the ball out to the wings quickly, or trying to get Smith in behind quickly, and then you've got those players like Wing and Nibbs and Vickers who can play in good when you're at higher areas up the pitch. I thought defensively looked okay today as well. Weren't really tested with too many attacking efforts from Oxford. We didn't really get too many shots on goal. But generally, I thought I would say it's a probably pretty encouraging performance from Reading today. And based on the first half, you probably thought you should win it. But overall, interested to know whether you think a draw was fair. And that brings me on to Oxford United, still searching for the first league win for Des Buckingham. That goes on to 4 games tonight. And you'd have to say we look at this one and say it is 2 points dropped. It's not disrespecting Reading, but we just looked at this one playing aside, second bottom in the table, looking for a response after that bad 3-0 defeat to Peterborough, and we just feel like we're more ground lost at the top of the table. I thought generally the performances were pretty good today. We looked pretty solid at the back, and I think second half we certainly looked much better when Bennett came on to left back and Ciaron Brown played at centre back. I thought Stevens was a little bit up and down, but I thought that midfield 3 worked quite well. I thought sometimes Cameron Brannigan was good at the 10, sometimes he wasn't, but I thought McEachran and Maguire did quite well in midfield. Mills was a bit hot and cold, as he tends to be, but good assist for the goal. Obviously, Ciaron Brown played great. Did really well for that header as well. But I did think Josh Murphy played well. I thought overall there was times where he was quiet in the game, but his fitness looked pretty good. He was a willing runner all the way through the game. He was making good runs all the way through that second half, and Oxford weren't able to get the ball to him. Harris, work rate good, just not getting chances, not scoring goals, but he did play a good part in the first game. But there are some issues for me. Again, just a little bit too slow moving the ball at times, a little bit too ponderous, just sometimes just passing it around at the back for the sake of it. We could just get the ball forward quicker. And obviously just looked so short of confidence in front of goal, just not getting enough players forward into attacking areas. We're not getting the ball into the box enough, certainly not having enough shots at goal, and those shortcomings in the side. Look, I know we've got some injuries to some key players, but those shortcomings in the side in terms of the striking areas and the forwards is certainly coming back to haunt us now. Maybe we were getting away with it a bit at the start of the season, but we're certainly not getting away with it now. And the fact that we ended the game with no striker on the pitch is pretty telling. Didn't even try O'Donker, didn't even keep Harris on and maybe go 2 up top. You could have changed. I would have just liked to have seen that. You ended up with Bodin and pretty much James Henry playing up top, which is, well, they're good players, but you wouldn't say they're a recipe for a lot of goals. And I think that we're just going to have to try and muddle through, aren't we? We're going to have to try and muddle through as best we can until we get those players back, which isn't going to be till the new year, and until that window opens where we need reinforcements up top. We all know it. There's not much we can do about it now. We just have to try and muddle through. Well, actually, there is. Maybe we could try 2 up top, but that's probably never going to happen. But all in all, a more enjoyable game than what we saw at the weekend. That is at least the effort level we want from an Oxford United side going into every single game. And you're just hoping that we can just nick a few games here and there and take a few more chances. But it was better. We desperately need that win on Saturday, you would say. And Buckingham just needs that win to get that kind of like winless streak off his back in the league. But let me know your thoughts. Pretty self-evident where the flaws are, but let me know your thoughts on this game. Let me know your thoughts on the tactics. Let me know all your thoughts, and we'll be back for a longer review at the weekend for whoever it is we are playing. I believe it's Burton. Yes, Burton. What a game that should be. Thanks very much for watching. Thames Valley Derby back. It's good, wasn't it? See you soon.